Hello everyone, this is simply a glossary video to go alongside our legality series, and also just to save you some more reading time while making sure there's a resource for the jargon used within this series. I'm ripping these straight from the original document to make sure that we've got the proper context, so let's just get right on into it. Actual completion date. The date when completion takes place or is treated as taking place for the purposes of apportionment and calculating interest. Addendum. An amendment or addition to the conditions or to the particulars or to both, whether contained in a supplement to the catalogue, a written notice from the auctioneers, or an oral announcement at the auction. Agreed completion date, subject to condition G9.3, we haven't quite gotten there in the legality series yet. The date specified in the special conditions, or B, if no date is specified, 20 business days after the contract date. Arrears. Arrears of rent and other sums due under the tenancies and still outstanding on the actual completion date. Arrears schedule, the arrears schedule, if any, forming part of the special conditions. Auction. Self-explanatory, the auction advertised in the catalogue. Business day. Any day except A, Saturday or Sunday, or B, a bank holiday or a public holiday in England and Wales. Buyer. The person who agrees to buy the lot, or if applicable, that person's personal representatives. If two or more are jointly the buyer, their obligations can be enforced against them jointly or against each of them separately. Catalogue. The catalogue for the auction as it exists at the date of the auction, or if the catalogue is then different, the date of the contract, including any addendums, and whether printed or made available electronically. Completion. Unless the seller and the buyer otherwise agree the occasion when they both have complied with the obligations under the contract that they are obliged to comply with prior to completion, and the amount payable on completion has been unconditionally received in the seller's conveyance as a client account, or as otherwise required by terms of the contract, condition 1 of the auction conduct conditions or sale conditions. Contract. The contract by which the seller agrees to sell and the buyer agrees to buy the lot. Contract date, the date of the auction, or if the lot is sold before or after the auction, A, the date of the sale memorandum signed by both the seller and the buyer, or B, if contracts are exchanged, the date of the exchange. Documents. Documents of title, including, if title is registered, the entries on the register and the title plan and other documents listed or referred to in the special conditions relating to the lot, apart from financial charges. Extra general conditions. Any conditions added or varied by the auctioneers starting at condition G30. Financial charge. A charge to secure a loan or other financial indebtedness that is not including a rent charge or local land charge. General conditions. The sale conditions headed General Conditions of Sale, including any extra general conditions. Interest rate. If not specified in the special conditions, the higher of 6% and 4% above the base rate from time to time of Barclays Bank PLC. The interest rate will also apply to any judgment debt unless the statutory rate is higher. Lot. Each separate property described in the catalogue, or, as the case may be, property that the seller has agreed to sell and the buyer to buy, including CALs, if any. Old arrears. Arrears due under any of the tenancies that are not new tenancies as defined by the Landlord and Tenant Covenants Act 1995. Particulars. The section of the catalogue that contains descriptions of each lot, as varied by any addendum. Practitioner. Insolvency practitioner for the purposes of the Insolvency Act 1986, or in relation to jurisdictions outside the United Kingdom, a person undertaking a similar role. Price. The price, exclusive of VAT, that the buyer agrees to pay for the lot. Ready to complete. Willing and able to complete. If completion would enable the seller to discharge all financial charges secured on the lot that have to be discharged by completion, then those outstanding financial charges do not prevent the seller from being ready to complete. Sale conditions. The general conditions as varied by any special conditions or addendum. Sale of memorandum, the form so headed, whether or not set out in the catalogue, in which the terms of the contract for the sale of the lot are recorded. Seller, the person selling the lot, or two or more jointly, the seller, their obligations can be enforced against them, jointly or against each separately. Special conditions. Those of the sale conditions so headed that relate to the lot. Tenancies, leases, licenses to occupy, and agreements for lease and any other documents varying or supplemental to them. Tenancy schedule. The schedule of tenancies, if any, forming part of the special conditions. Transfer. Transfer includes a conveyance or assignment, and to transfer includes to convey or to assign. TUP. The transfer of undertakings, protection of employment, regulations 2006, VAT, the value added tax, or other tax of a similar nature. VAT option. An option to tax we and us and are, the auctioneers, you and your, someone who's seen the catalogue or who attends the bids or otherwise participates in the auction, whether or not they are a buyer. And that one would close out this glossary video. We hope that you find this helpful if you didn't understand much of the jargon, and we will see you in our following videos.